Howdy. My case report today is over Dory from Finding Dory. My name is Sophia Vikakal, and I'm in Psychology 107 Intro to Psych. My movie I chose today is Finding Dory, and my character is Dory. A little background is the movie is centered around a fish named Dory who has short-term memory loss. She randomly regains memory of her parents and decides she wants to find them, so ultimately she goes on this long journey. A slight environmental background is it takes place mostly in the open sea and partially in some scenes in the Marine Life Institute, a rehabilitation center for marine life where that they were injured or endangered just to get them going. Anterograde amnesia. A little description is the ability to transfer short-term memories into long-term memories. The patient is not able to create new long-term memories. This does not mean that the patient loses the ability to remember things, like what is sometimes exaggerated. Instead, often struggles with it. Some cultural context is that most cultures do recognize AA. However, some do not believe in it, and some actually think that it's not amnesia, it is instead a unbalanced spirit. It is recognized in almost all cultures, however, some choose not to participate in different psychological problems. Some stigmas around it could be that people think that it's incompetent, slow, the ability to take care of themselves, childlike, etc. Some people struggle with it because a lot of the symptoms of amnesia are often exaggerated to what they really need to be. For my empirical paper, I included the link to a PDF of a study that goes through an experiment done testing and focusing on brain structures in the medial temporal lobe and pathways connecting them to try and summarize factors that could cause memory impairment, etc. AA. Results found that damage to these parts of the brain is what triggers AA to form. Some symptoms that come along with AA is not being able to form long-term memories or constantly repeating statements and questions. Just like in the movie Dory, um, where she is not able to remember stuff long term, to where she is always repeating questions and always re asking stuff that she has already said. Some examples in the movie is this of not being able to form long term memories is when Dory meets Hank for the first time. She repeats herself, introducing herself to Hank and asking who he is several times just because she cannot remember. An example of constantly repeating is when Dory, Nemo, and Marlin are riding the Stingray. She can't remember what they're doing or where they're going almost the entire ride, which makes her struggle. Some symptoms that are not often recognized but are there is Dory's ability to learn new tasks through repetition. This is one of the most underlying symptoms of AA because people wouldn't think of it. However, it has been studied and shown that repetition does help people who struggle with AA to truly start to remember. In the DSM-5, you can find AA under dissociative amnesia, DSM-5 300.12. The empirical paper that I found to show evidence for symptoms and what can cause AA to form is alcohol abuse. Some other majors would be carbon dioxide, low blood sugar, and a few other things. Which, if you look at Dory, one thing that could have helped cause her, which we don't entirely know because it is a fictional show, could be pollution to the water, which she could have consumed when she was young, which is what caused this to form. Treatments. Some treatments A treatment plan that could help with AA would be to assess comprehensiveness, how to look at and see how bad truly do they have it. External memory aids like smartphones to help constantly put it back into your brain and to educate the family on how to handle diagnosis. Why these are appropriate is it truly aligns with neuroscience. Uh, Neuroscience compensates for AA but does not cure. Remember, AA cannot be cured. And it adapts the environment but does not restore your brain. Some ethical concerns that do come along with this is making the person dependent on other people. They get put into such a controlled environment to the point that they really do not think and function and be able to create their own thoughts because everything is so planned out meticulously for them to try to help to put it back in to where it almost reverses and does more damage than good. Some cultural barriers would be lack of awareness, cultural beliefs leading to spiritual imbalance rather than a real problem. Because, like I mentioned, some cultures do not view this as a real problem. A broad perspective, um, accuracy overall. Finding Dory does a good job of accuracy at this film. However, some symptoms are exaggerated than what they need to be, and some aren't looked at as what they truly severely are. A portrayal of disorder exaggerates forgetfulness, raises awareness, and creates some misconceptions that people might have. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. Attached, you will find my references.